Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, darling.
Hello, hello. So what you making? What you making?
So today, hi guys. Hi everyone. This is a pre-recorded live, just so you know, guys. We are, what's today? Today is April. So we are filming this a bit ahead of the season. But summer is on the way, right? Even though I know it doesn't feel like for you, Bar. I know you just sent me some images of snow. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's really like heart shattering, right? Like it's the end of April and it's still snowing and so cold. So I'm actually going to jump into the summer with this design because we're going to be doing some ice cream cone cookies. And I'm doing these to update actually my blog post. I made these cookies maybe I think 11 years ago or somewhere around there. And I never did a tutorial. So I'm going to show you several designs. I also wanted to tell you that I have a template. I don't know if this particular shape is available anywhere. Let me just grab it. I have a template in my coffee shop. And this template comes along with the transfer sheets also. If you wanted to make tiny little ice cream cone transfer sheets from Montreal Icing, you can use this template and make those ahead of time and then use them to decorate your cookies. But this shape, do you think it's available anywhere? This shape?
Um, the difference is usually I've seen it like with that pointed cone, like the pointed cone.
Yes. Oh,
Huh?
you mean at the bottom? Yes, yes, yes. That's what I have. I have that, but I don't have the other one. So it is available in my coffee shop. Let me just see if we have a link here. So at the bottom of the screen, you guys can see where you guys can purchase all these templates. And Marlene also has a lot of different templates and recipes in her coffee shop. I like to use pen blade. This is basically a blade, pen blade. Um, I guess it's called pen blade now because you can kind of hold it as a pen. And I use this to hand cut my cookies. They come in different sizes. This is a size 10. I use this one the most. And this is my
It's
hand.
called a pen blade because it's the brand hand. If you look on them, it says on it pen blade.
Yes, it does. It does say pen blade, but I'm thinking why they are calling it pen blade. I think they're calling it because you can hold it like a pen. Pen blade.
Yes.
So it has a so it's you know the only disadvantage is you cannot replace the blade. It's not like an exacto knife where you can swap out the blade when it's when it becomes dull or when it chips. But I've had these for several years and they are really really great. Now this is
Well, if
the
you're
template.
cutting cookie dough, it's not like the blade gets worn down.
Not no not really. But do you have any tips for folks for hand cutting cookies? What are your tips?
I say you at least have to have your dough chilled. I like it frozen.
Oh,
So
you
that,
do you like it really like frozen?
yeah, well,
Really?
because if you're pressing on it as you're trying to work, and then sometimes the blade will drag and your edges get very like, jagged. If you cut it while the dough's frozen, it looks almost like a cookie cutter did it.
Yeah, I don't like it to be frozen. I
Oh,
like it to be chilled but not frozen. I find it hard to cut, but I guess you must be
well,
very
the thing
slow.
the thing that happens though if it's frozen is it gives you time to work on your
No,
batch.
no, I do agree. Like it's better. It's definitely better when it's chilled. If you have a choice of having frozen or not frozen, frozen it is because you're going to get sharper edges. And then, do you have a technique when how you are using your blade? Because I don't just drag. I usually like so when it's a straight edge, I do dragging like you do. But when it's a rounded, because sometimes you have to like around these edges, it's not you can't really go. So I go like that, like kind of back and forth. And also remember to not cut on your baking sheet.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Yes,
please
thanks for
don't
that.
cut on your baking sheet because like my baking sheets are like $25 a sheet or more. So I don't cut on a baking sheet. I always um, cut on a cutting board or something, and also make sure that if you are rolling your dough on silicone mat, transfer it onto the parchment. And then from the parchment, you can move it onto the baking sheet. I now use the perforated mat.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you don't want to ruin your nice silicone rolling mats and all that.
Yeah, because it will cut through.
Or even your table.
Or even your table. You know, I because I remember Callie, Sweet Sugar Bell. So I remember she, if I remember correctly, I think she ruined her table by doing some cutting and not realizing. So that's why I'm like always in my head. Make sure that you protect your work surface. All right, so let's start with this first design. So I'm using yellow marker here, and I'm just going to divide my basically swirl into sections. And we'll be doing several different designs, so you can choose, or you can tell me at the end of the live which one is your favorite. I wanted to keep it on a simple, like, easy, simple design. So hopefully you guys can replicate these. Now I'm using about 20-second consistency royal icing here. If you're struggling with cratering in these tiny sections, I would suggest that you use the skeleton method or beam method. You pipe like a zigzag line in the middle, you let it crust, and then you flood over it. But unfortunately, it does take a little bit of time, and you also cannot go too deep with your scribe because you'll disturb that support beam if you go too deep. So I'm going to ice every other section here. And I'm using T+ bags, and I have these listed in my Amazon shop.
What's the pretty pink you're using, Han?
Pretty pink. This is actually strawberry from Pro Gel.
Very nice.
It's nice, isn't it? Strawberry. Yeah, I mainly use Americolor brand, but I also like to use some of the colors from Pro Gel. My favorite is the Claret, as you know. But I also have strawberry and some other colors. I think they also have really nice gray. And you can do this in different colors, obviously. I was even thinking, soft serve ice cream. So it's usually vanilla and chocolate, right? So you could do, you could alternate vanilla chocolate to give it that look. Now here I went all the way up because I didn't want to pipe or flood the section below it, because it would be touching the section that I just iced and I wouldn't get the definition there. So we have to let those layers crust. And now for the bottom, for the cone, I'm using ivory royal icing here. And this is a darker shade ivory. I'm doing some shading with flat consistency. And I'm going to use lighter shade right after I flood this section.
So these would be great for a kid's birthday party as the favors to hand out on the way out. They're seasonal.
I think you could even put them on a stick.
Oh, yes.
That would be kind of cute to put them on a stick. And maybe do, I'm thinking even piñata would be fun.
Oh, yes, yes. Put in your little royal icing mini cones in there.
Yes, mini cones, yes. That would be really cute. So you see, I did the cone wet on wet. I didn't wait for the darker ivory to crust. I'm adding some icing there because I saw some dimples there, so I wanted to make sure that it's all flooded nicely. And now when it's crusted, I can add this layer here. And again, this is about 20-second consistency royal icing. It's not super runny, but not too stiff. Like I said, if you're struggling with cratering, make sure that you use that support beam zigzag line in the middle, let it crust, and then pipe over it. And usually it does help significantly with the cratering. And also today I'm using, you can see sharp edges on this cookie. So I'm using my sugar cookie dough recipe. Nowadays, I don't really use baking powder. If I do use baking powder, it will be like maybe quarter of a teaspoon. But you can experiment with what you like. The recipe actually suggests to use 1 teaspoon. That's how I started. Now, another design we have here. Well, it's the same design, but this is after it's crusted. You're going to add sections next to it. So I'm letting the cone crust because I wanted to have definition in there. If I didn't let it crust, it would be just blended all together. And for this section, I am using ivory. Again, just like on the bottom section. Have you done ice cream cone cookies? I don't remember.
I did do ice cream cones. I did it. I think the video has a pretzels, those bread pretzels, you know, and
Bread pretzels?
yeah, I used sanding sugar as the salt, and then
Oh, okay.
I did the cone. I did a little two-piece set.
Okay. So I'm doing the middle now, like the little sections between the light pink layers. I decided to do it this way because I can still shape the icing and just accentuate the corners nicely. You could, at this point, if you let it dry completely, you could also use some maybe sanding sugar on this section, or maybe some glitter or sprinkles. I'm
They
just gonna.
should out your royal icing recipe that's strawberry for this project.
Yes, that's true. I completely forgot. Yes, I do have a strawberry royal icing made with strawberry puree, and it's so good. It's like a smoothie. It's very addictive. So, but yeah, exactly. Or raspberry. Blueberry royal icing doesn't usually turn out very well because, unfortunately, the color that you see on the blueberries doesn't really the skin color. It's not what you're going to get. You usually like very light bluish grayish color, which is also nice. I mean, it's all if that's something you're looking for, all natural color. All right. So now I have this cookie actually here. Let me just do a little camera dance.
I've got the big square.
Yes. So I actually, as you can see, let me get the. Oh no, I don't have another one. So you see, I actually messed up the bottom. I
You nicked it.
Yes, but it's okay. We can live with that. I think it's all right.
We'll forgive you.
So now I'm going to actually outline. We're using piping consistency for this step. Can you see well?
Yep.
Actually, I'm going to, okay, forgive me. I'm going to do different step because I'm going to do the bottom. I want to add some sugar to this. So if I do this section and then this is not crusted, and I add sugar onto here, there's a high chance that the sugar will transfer also on this section. So it's better to do.
It takes very little moisture for the sugar to stick. So if you don't want it in a certain area, you have to be mindful of what's
Exactly.
wet and what's dry.
All right. Now this bag is not cut. So let me just quickly show you how I like to cut my bags. So this is a dipless, and you see it has a seam here. So I always flatten the seam in the middle. And then you don't want to cut here, okay, because that's too much of an opening. It will be difficult. And then
Kind of pointless.
you also don't want to cut on an angle unless you are creating a leaf tip or something. So you want to cut straight across. This is a pretty small opening. Let's see. It's always better to cut small and then go bigger. All right, it can be a little bigger, so I'll just do it a little bigger. Also, remember, if you are new to this, smaller the opening, harder it is to, I find it is harder to pipe. And it's also, you are also it's also more prone for mistakes. That
And
so
if your icing is too thick, well, your piping bag could explode.
yes, that is also true. So you see, this is kind of like a light brown here.
Where's your tutorial where you put cake batter in the cones?
Um, it's on
Because
the
that
blog.
would be,
It's on the blog.
it's on the blog, because that would be a cute set. You serve the cupcake.
On. It's not. It's. Are you? Uh,
You
I
did cones with like watermelon.
Yes, it was actually meringues I did.
Oh, but did you do a different project with
Yes,
cake?
I did. Yes, I did. And there was the shark. And
Oh,
that's unfortunately it's been almost a year and it hasn't made it to the blog yet. But I am
oh,
working on it. I'm working on it. So now I'm just going to add some sanding sugar. Now this is not regular granulated sugar. However, I actually have to say that for this project, this particular project, granulated sugar wouldn't be such a bad idea. No, it would create just a
it
little
wouldn't be
bit.
as raised. It would be more like frosted.
Yes,
Pretty. The sanding sugar always adds a nice shine.
yes. And the thing is, if your lines are not super straight or something, so sanding sugar is going to help and hide that, and nobody will ever know. So that's also great, right?
Yeah, makes imperfect lines look perfect.
Yes, exactly. So now we're just going to outline, and I'm using, you see, I actually made two different consistencies of the same colors. So this is the dark pink here that I used, and this is the light pink. And these are both like piping consistency. Okay. Do you like ice cream?
I like ice cream, of course.
Well, it's not given. I mean, what's your favorite flavor? Do you
Um,
have a favorite flavor?
favorite flavor, I have to say I do enjoy coconut ice
Oh,
cream.
oh, and coconut is done right. It's nice.
It is
It's nice.
very good. But I have to say I'm open to a wide variety of them. I mean, there's so many good ice cream, like maraschino or is it maraschino cherry? That's pretty good.
Chocolate and lemon.
Ugh.
I will have to
Chocolate
turn you.
or lemon, not
Some,
chocolate and
at
lemon.
some point, I will turn you. I will. I will. You have to try it. If you haven't tried it, I think you cannot know if you like it.
Well, I don't like citrus, like even like orange. Some people love orange with chocolate. For me, it tastes horrible.
Oh, really?
I just
I just finished. I made checker box cookies, orange and chocolate.
it's
You don't like orange and chocolate?
the
No?
most horrific combination for me. It's like no, it's just wrong.
So how about clementines? You know, the smaller version of orange, a baby orange. Would you eat them dipped in chocolate?
Absolutely never.
Never. Oh,
Never.
they're so good. That's something I would actually offer you because it's healthy and like very good. Then you wouldn't touch it. Okay, good to know. So at this point, I also wanted to tell you I like to keep the seam of the piping bag facing my palm of my hand. Somebody actually asked that on my YouTube channel a couple of days ago. So that's why I'm mentioning it. Now this is totally optional. You don't have to do the outline here. I mean, I'm just really playing with it a little bit. So I don't. You don't. So you don't. You don't even eat oranges.
It's not that I don't like oranges or I don't like lemons. I like them, just not with chocolate.
Just not with
They
chocolate.
just don't work with chocolate for my palate. It's like just wrong. It doesn't fit in my taste repertoire. But I love lemon meringue pie, lemon loaf, lemon. I just made lemon madeleines. I love lemon.
Excellent. Now you might be asking, what's the whole point? Why did I cover it now? Why did I just do it at the same time, right? So yeah, that's a good question. You can keep
Well,
asking yourself, but I just yeah, you just get a different
yes,
look.
exactly. You get a different look.
All right, so now we're moving on to the second design. And in this second design, again, I'm using my marker. And this is a similar design to, I would say, cupcake design, where we divide the cupcake swirl into sections. And again, I'm using, this is dark pink that I used also on the previous cookie. And I'm just going to outline each section and then we'll flood it. And this icing, it's the piping consistency, so it actually creates a bit of a barrier, a thick outline between the sections. And then I'm going to flood it with the light pink. So I'm using basically light pink, dark pink, and also we're gonna do some brown. I'm letting it crust for like 5 minutes or something. And again, on the bottom, I'm repeating the same design I did in a previous ice cream cone. You can really do a different shading. If you have no idea, you can look up vectors on internet, and it will give you some ideas on how to do the bottom. You can just keep it one color. I also done that, or I did like a two tone. I will show you that in a minute. And again, doing the ivory on the bottom.
Or they could use their airbrush.
Yes, absolutely. Use your airbrush. Yes.
This-
You could, yes, exactly. You could use the airbrush. Yes, airbrush will give it even more realistic look. There's so many ways of how to do the ice cream cone. I've done some, what was it? Ice cream sundae, I think it was, where I used an airbrush and there was a
Something
little bit
with the
of.
strawberries. Isn't that the tutorial that goes with the strawberry
Yes, I
relish?
think so. There is a strawberry transfer there that I used. So you can also look it up on my blog. There is a tutorial
The
on
blog
how.
address is on the screen there.
And so now we're going to ice the sections. And this is the same color, just lighter shade. How do you proceed when you're doing, let's say, three different shades of the same color? Do you color the darkest or do you color the lightest and then how do you do it? Do you
Well,
have
actually, the amount, I do think about the amount I'm going to need. Do you know what I'm saying? So if I need a lot of the darker, for example, I'll usually kind of do my dark first, so I have like my quantity, and then I'll do the next. You know what I mean? Like so, because sometimes you need more of a certain color, so the color I need the most of is usually what I start with.
Okay. So for in my like yes, so I would say it's usually I usually start with the lighter because I mostly use need like lighter shade. But yes, but I agree. But then if you have to, for example, if you need several consistencies, so do you?
I don't. If I'm making a project that has a lot of colors, I really don't do a lot of consistencies just for
Mhm.
practical purposes.
Mhm.
I try to simplify it that way. So I'll use the dual consistency instead,
Mhm.
and then I don't have to mix as many.
This white dots that I'm doing it as wet on wet. So you want to pipe that right after you ice um, the pink
That's
section.
So easy, but such an effective little design, eh? That little that
Yes,
little shine.
I made a little mistake there. I was thinking I could do it with my little shovel, but I ended up using tweezers instead. And you could, if you don't have these Jimmy sprinkles, you could. I mean, it's more painful to color all the icing, but you could
Oh,
just maybe use two colors. You could use. I think yellow looks nice and blue is very poppy, so you could use those colors to make sprinkles. Okay.
but let's be honest, everybody has the rainbow sprinkles, and often we don't use them. They sit there forever, so it's a great occasion to pull them out and use them, right?
Yes.
There's all these
Yes.
sprinkles that we don't use.
Yes. Now in this design, this is the design that we're going to do the bottom with like two-tone icing, super easy. I'm not going to do the top and the bottom separately. I'm just going to do it as one piece. So this side I'm doing ivory and the other side will be darker ivory. So you can really have fun with it. If you don't have an airbrush, if you have an airbrush, you just do it ivory and then you airbrush. You can look up, like I said, different tutorials, and Marlene has probably also her tutorial on how to do it.
Well, the basic rule of thumb is start with the lightest color and then you're airbrushing in a darker color. You can't really airbrush onto a dark surface in a lighter shade of the color. It doesn't work. Right?
Yes, exactly. I can't wait for the ice cream. I have to say, I think we might go this weekend to the
Oh yeah,
Italian
the
place.
guy is there. You're like this guy that makes homemade ice cream
Yes,
in your
Dimitri.
neighborhood.
His name is Dimitri. Yes, but he's Italian. He's I think Dimitri is Russian name, but he's Italian, and he makes it's fantastic, and he has really good coconut. He also has he calls it tangerine, so I guess that's the clementines, right? Is that
And no,
tangerine?
a clementine and a tangerine are two different things.
Are they two different things?
Hmm.
Are they? Okay. So now we're going to do the top in one swoop. Like you don't have to divide anything. So this is super simple. If you don't have time, you can just do it this way. It's a lot faster. And see, I'm using same colors, creating different designs. So you don't necessarily need, 15 different colors because it takes time to color all the icing and all of that. So just keep that in mind if you're making cookies, maybe for your picnic or something. Memorial Day is coming up. This would be also great for Memorial Day. You can just swap out the colors and use maybe blue, red, and white. That'll be really cute.
You do little star sprinkles.
Or maybe, yes, exactly, use some star sprinkles. Give it a little shake to smooth the icing. If you see any dimples, just add more icing and use your scribe to smooth that. All right, so this one is done. Okay, and I actually have that one here. See, I have it here. I have two of them here actually. And now we're going to, I'm going to outline. Oops. So I'm gonna keep it really simple for you guys. So we're going to do the bottom, and this is just going to be, can you see okay? Let us know guys, what is your favorite ice cream? See, that's all you have to do. It's super duper simple. And now for the top, I'm going to, let's see what I've done here. This is my prototype, so I'm just looking at it. Sometimes I forget. So I'm just going to, oops, I think I'm using darker icing that I should have used the lighter shade, but it's okay, I'm going with this. You know what I think Sweet Sugar Girl, I think she has in her collection a similar cutter with a flat bottom. I think so. Not 100%. So now
Well,
I'm going to,
I'm looking at it. You could use a cupcake and then like a rectangle to notch out
yes,
the
yes,
those little
yes.
corners.
So now I'm going to, now if you need help, you can use your scribe. I'm going to basically connect these points, okay? And then here, I'm gonna go here and here. Oops. Okay, so this is the second design. Now we're going to, oh, is it the second, third? Now this is a really, hopefully I can, this is a design that I'm gonna divide the swirl in half. Okay, I'm going to ice the swirl in two colors, but not horizontally. I'm gonna do it vertically. Again, bottom is the ivory. That's always the same. And sorry, this is a bit lighter, a bit overexposed here. Also on these cookies, I experienced some bubbles. You know, when the cookies bake and you unfortunately have some bubbles on them as they come out of the oven, come out of the oven. So you want to, if that happens, it's usually caused by overmixing of your dough. Or maybe your bake, if you're using baking powder, it was, you know, maybe something happened, it wasn't evenly distributed in the dough or something like that. So you want to immediately take flat spatula and press them down, or you can also use baking sheet, but make sure that the baking sheet is not, um, it doesn't have a design. It's not textured. Like my baking sheet is actually lightly like textured. I use USA Pan brand, so you can use that to flatten if you have any bubbles there. Now I'm going to create shading. So this was light brown. Now I'm coming in with dark brown. I didn't wait for the light brown to crust, and you can see I'm increasing the pressure around the edge there and going very close to the light brown and then around and then filling this section. When making brown, actually for this brown, I used chocolate brown and I added green to it.
Did you put cocoa in it?
In this one, I don't think I did. Did I? I don't remember. No, I don't think so. I don't think I did. Sometimes, yes, I do put cocoa a lot of times. I didn't do any cocoa this time. Now I'm going to take same light brown and just add some dots at the bottom and then also at the very top. And if your icing is thicker and you see that the dots are not sinking in, you can use your scribe and just agitate that section and it should sink in. Ideally, you want them to be similar consistency. And now on this side, I'm doing it pink. I'm not waiting for the dark brown to crust at all. I'm just going to do it immediately. And again, try to go as close as possible. And you can see I'm really increasing the pressure, so more icing is coming out. I'm doing it that way so I don't have to then go with my scribe, especially when doing wet on wet, because it only takes one stroke of a with one move with the scribe, and that line that is straight is not going to be straight. So I find it's better to go very close and just increase the pressure so more icing is coming out, and you seal that gap between two colors. And now with the darker pink, I'm going to create shading, but not on the edge. I'm going to do it in the middle. And again, it should be about the same consistency, which in this case is about 15. You can get away with 20 if you're fast enough. These are not super giant cookies. If you are working with cookies that are really, really large, 20 seconds might be too thick, and the icing will most likely start crusting before you have a chance to add another layer on it. All right, that was this design, which is super, super simple. And I'm going to show you, you can decorate the bottom just like we did here. I'm not going to show that at this point. I will have another design that I will show you how to do the bottom, which is a bit different. So I already iced my bottom here, and this is all going to be wet on wet. So I'm just using my marker here to get me started. So I have my lines prepared. And I'm going to start with brown royal icing. And this is about, I'd say, 15 to 20 seconds or somewhere around there. So it's flat icing. And you can see it's pretty, I'm making a line that is pretty thick. I would say it's number 4 maybe, if it was a piping tip. And now I'm going to come again with the flat consistency icing. I'm going to create some shading. And I'm going to do it all on all the lines. I'm not going to do it individually. That way I can then move quicker. And you can use different colors for this, obviously. I find ice cream usually comes with, like the pink is the most popular, no? Brown or chocolate, yellow.
For what?
Ice cream colors. I like to think about ice cream colors. Mint would be nice with bits of like, I don't know if you can use. I haven't tried using chocolate, but I think with bits of dried brown for icing for the chocolate. Now you see I'm using a lighter shade brown, filling that in. Try not to disturb the lines too much. And yes, you want to work fairly quickly because this is all wet on wet. And there, the top. And after we are done with this, we have to let this crust. Now the crusting, it will take maybe 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the location where you put your cookies. I like to put them on a flat tray and have a fan running close by. All right, so I actually have a cookie like that here. It's ready to go. So I'm going to show you another alternative on how to do the bottom, the cone, and then we'll decorate the top as well. Let me see if I have a different color here. I thought I did. I guess this is it. Let me see. Oh no, this one is good. All right. Oh, I forgot to do this brush, but that's okay. I'm just going to do it this way. All right. Oops. It happens in all families. Oh, I should have done it straight, that it's okay. All right, so now I'm going to make a line here. And then find a center, make a central line here. And there. And it's an alternative. You can also dust it with sanding sugar if you want. Just gonna leave it be. And I'm going to use the same icing. And I'm just going to add some lines on this design. Just to give it a little bit of a movement. Because otherwise it's quite flat. Okay, over here. And there. There. So we made, this was the first one. Then I showed you how to do this. Did we do this? No, did I add the lines? I did, I think. I'm like completely. So this one, it's pretty, it's simple. You don't have to add anything on the bottom. If you want, you can do lattice or not. And then also this one. So we've got, so let me know which one is your favorite. And I will also
Lots of pretty options.
I'm sorry?
Lots of pretty options.
Yes, I think so too. If I may say so. So guys, so that was for today for my project. Again, um, you can find template for the cutter in my coffee shop, along with this cutter comes with a transfer sheet for ice cream cone icing transfers. You can use those, like Marlene suggested. I think it would be super cute to use those to
Fill your piñata cookie.
make the piñata cookie. That would be really fun, I think.
Very cute. Thanks, Han. That was great.
Thank you.
See, today we're not matching because I'm freezing to death.
We are matching. I have purple.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, I do have purple. I can't believe it. This is the fourth time. I mean, you'll be watching this in the summer, but it's exciting. We are not talking about it, and we still dress the same.
Let's see if we're gonna stay connected.
Yes, we'll see.
Thanks, Han. That was great.
Thank you. We'll see you. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.